All right. So you're Craig Bergman. You're Ron Paul's Iowa campaign manager.
Political director.
Political director. Okay, and you're out here in front of a student bookstore in East Lansing. Okay, so what's going on with this rally today? What is the plan for what's going on?
Adam organized a bunch of the students here and a bunch of the meetup people from the Lansing area to come out and do the showing of the flag the day before the election, and put in people's minds to remember that tomorrow's an election day and they should vote for Ron Paul, the only liberty, fiscal, and social conservative candidate running for president. And we've got, I don't know, 30 so people out here on both sides of the busy intersection, and it's snowy, it's wet, it's cold, it's beautiful Michigan weather.
Yeah. So why do you think there's such strong appeal for Ron Paul among college-age students?
Because I believe that they have seen what's been happening with the status quo in politics, and rather than their 60s disciples of tuning out and dropping out, they're engaging.
So what do you expect? Do you expect a large turnout for Ron Paul to be in the area and across Michigan?
Well, we expect a fair turnout. We know Ron Paul's ideas are in the mainstream of the Republican Party. He's the only limited government candidate. He's the only candidate exposing the constitutional principles of limited government. He's the only one against nation building. And for the troops, more troops have donated to Ron Paul than any other candidate. This is active duty and retired military personnel have donated more money to Ron Paul's campaign than any other. I'm a former veteran myself.
Where did you serve?
I served in the military in the United States Army Reserve from '83 to '93. Right. I was in the first Gulf War.
First Gulf War. Okay, and now with the Democratic primary being essentially worthless. There's no candidate, no delegates, and there's really only one major candidate on the ballot. Do you think there'll be a lot of crossover voting in support of Ron Paul?
Well, we hope we get a lot for Ron Paul. We know there'll be a lot for John McCain. He beat George Bush here last time, and according to some of the polls, he could beat Mitt Romney and end his political career tomorrow. We're hoping for a strong showing. We want to keep the ideals alive. Nobody has any, false illusion that, 80% of the people in Michigan are going to show up and vote for Ron Paul tomorrow, but we hope that they give him strong consideration.
Do you think with Mitt Romney out of the race, do you think it could potentially be a gain for Ron Paul?
Definitely. If the field narrows down and we have a choice between McCain, Giuliani, and Ron Paul, we would do much better in that.
Much better? All right. Is there any states coming up after Michigan you think you'd have a really strong shot at?
Well, South Carolina and Nevada are on the same day, the 19th, just 4 days later, and some polls have us as high as second place in Nevada. All
right. You think you think with Ron Paul is strong enough that he could, unlike Romney, has been second place, pretty much. Do you think Ron Paul could build up from his lesser places to build a campaign up to like Super Tuesday or some other date? Or
no, what I really think we're looking at with Mike Huckabee winning in Iowa and John McCain winning in New Hampshire, and talk of some candidate winning in Florida and some candidate winning in Nevada and some candidate winning in South Carolina, we could have 3 different front runners a week from now.
Mm-hmm. So
that would be a broker convention if you're asking that kind of question.
Yeah.
I don't think we may not know who the Republican nominee is till September.
All right. And do you think if Ron Paul, it does not appear too likely he'll grab the Republican nomination, do you think he would be able to do a successful independent run?
Well, he said it's 99.9% unlikely that he would do that, and I take him at his word.
All right. But the 0.1%, though, do you think there'd be the support from right now could continue on into
I would say the analogy is better that Ron Paul would serve as the next Barry Goldwater. Uh-huh. He would ignite the new revolution for a new generation. Yes, why are these young people involved? The same kind of thing happened in the 60s with Barry Goldwater. 16 years later, it led to the landslide double re-election of Ronald Reagan, and I think we'll see that. I think the limited government, fiscal conservative, strong national defense, social conservative coalition is alive and well. This is the campaign that represents all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. This is the Republican Party base. It is the Republican Party future.
So you're saying within maybe a decade or like 12 years or within a few elections we might have another Ronald Reagan type, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right.